Okay, here we are at State College. This is the Penn State University Stadium, Beaver Stadium, massive school. This is a state college, and it's tremendously influential. I think of the college football team here. You know, it wasn't long ago I was at Rutgers, and that was the first school that had a football team. And they played their very first game in the United States playing football with Princeton. But when you think of football, you think of these big schools like Penn State. And really major universities, major research universities where the freshman class is really big. You can have classes with 400 or 500 students with a graduate student as a teaching assistant overseeing the class. Very competitive. They'll take in a lot of freshmen and then weed out several of them that first year. It becomes a way for the university to make money. The sources of income for major universities like this are sports and research, publications from the professors who are more concerned about publishing than they are about teaching oftentimes. That's not always the case, but sadly it is very much the case in some of these universities. And so you get research and a lot of grants, and some of those grants are from the Department of Defense. And of course, another source of income is a bloated freshman class. So there's a book by the author Paige Smith, who wrote a book called Killing the Spirit. Major universities are not necessarily places where people are nurtured in their calling or their vocation, their purpose. Oftentimes they're places where they're run over because of the teaching style. The methodology of education is so competitive that it can actually cause more harm to people than encouraging them in their purpose. So as I pray at this college campus, I pray in terms of the forces that are allied against people. Sometimes those forces, can be navigated by very intelligent, hardworking people. But even those intelligent, hardworking people can become part of the system, and the system can be destructive to others. Maybe they don't desire to cause people pain, but they ultimately do. These are places where there are forces of darkness. These are places, these major universities, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, with people. We wrestle with principalities and powers, spiritual forces of darkness in heavenly places, in spiritual places. The multitudes of decisions that are being made every day in an institution like this oftentimes are for the benefit of the institution itself and not so much for the students. I'm not saying that's always the case, but that's how forces of darkness increase in an institution. And how do you combat that? Well, it's done by responding in the opposite spirit, where there are people that are concerned about empowering and defending the power of an institution. Then you come in and you respond in the opposite spirit, where you're defending the honor and the dignity of every individual, no matter who they are, every voice. We have in the universities today these things called safe places, safe spaces. And I think that may be uh, on the borderline of narcissism, where we are more concerned about protecting people's feelings than we are about making the truth known. And that isn't harming people to make the truth known. It actually helps them. So that needs to be what the university is a place where there's competition for ideas, and a place where the truth can be known, and darkness, forces of darkness, can be dispelled because we respond in the opposite spirit. So that's my prayer at this institution today.